The lot line that we're referring to is an internal lot line that's shown on a series of deeds and plans. This parcel is an assemblage of many parcels from prior ownership, consolidated by the industrial owners who worked at this and used this site. So that is an internal lot line.
So who owns on the Beechwood side, as you would have it, as we sit here tonight?
Our position is that we have a deed that shows the lot with the building on it. It shows a lot to the Pavilion Beach side, and by operation of law, we own the beach, pertinent to the uplands out to the extreme low water mark, which is the general rule for the ownership of beaches in front of properties in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
And as they say in the West, whiskey is for drinking and water is for fighting. Well, in the East, I think beach ownership would be the thing we'd fight over. If this application is approved, will we be getting a deed to the beach?
This beach, we've had...
That's amenable to me, yes or no?
I'm a lawyer. I have to qualify that answer. You can appreciate that. The ownership of the beach is something we have had discussions, as this committee is aware, because a proposal to create an interim easement for the public came before you. And this discussion of ownership of the beach arose. What's important to the owner is that once it's established that this project can be built, opened, and operated on this site, and it's clear then what the use of this property will be.
Which property?
The hotel property. That we are open to working out with the city's council, legal counsel, and city council an arrangement whereby the beach, exclusive of what is part of the hotel, could become public beach, to be used by the public and the guests of the hotel.
What does exclusive of what is part of the hotel mean, given the presentation this evening, that in fact there'll be a retreat, if you will, a structure from the existing beach line inward?
That's correct. The beach line would need to be defined, and we need the areas that we've shown on these plans, which would be essentially behind the existing building line and the existing concrete abutment line.
Obviously that's a discussion matter that's going to be continuously open, isn't it?
It certainly is, and I had a discussion with the city attorney last week about it, and look forward to continuing those discussions.
Councilors, I've been greedy. Do you have questions? I'm sorry. Then I do have one more that arose from this same presentation last week, which was sort of the old NEPA question, the no action alternative, given the concern with the scouring of the beach that was being caused and was speculated by washback from the existing building and storm conditions. What will be the scouring effect on the beach? I believe it was said last time, this will lessen the scouring. Is that correct?
The advice we're getting from coastal zone management is that by creating a sloped seawall rather than a vertical face of the existing building, that the condition of the beach would be safeguarded. We have...
If nothing is done? If it's left the way it is, what will happen to the beach?
I've posed that question to our coastal geologist who's assisting us with the Conservation Commission aspects of this proposal, and he was unavailable to be here this evening. He had another commitment in another state. But we will address that, and it's something that a coastal geologist needs to speak to. And I think it's not an easy answer, but we are working on it.
Thank you. What's next?
There had been some questions raised about demolition, and again, that's going to be the subject of the Conservation Commission's review and the third party, the peer reviewers as well. But in short, the survey would be performed before any physical demolition, which would identify any substances that needed to be treated specially. Abatement of those substances would be performed in accordance with state and federal guidelines by professionally licensed firms and personnel. And all of the state and federal regulations which govern this would be adhered to. In addition, the city has a process for the demolition of buildings that's supervised by the building inspector, and that would be followed as well.
Have you discussed this with the neighbors immediately abutting? Would that be a good idea?
Well, it certainly would, and we're happy to do that as part of this process.
Yeah, I would ask that happen sooner than later, please. And I want to reiterate that point. There's been a little bit of internet brouhaha over when and whether ward hearings, ward meetings may occur. And we've reviewed the record of the Gloucester Crossing process, which was getting some attention, and have established as a matter of record that there were ward meetings, and they were all conducted before the special counsel permit applications were filed. And the clerk has that information. It is also part of the public record that's being assembled. So, on one hand, you filed, that hasn't happened yet, it can't happen. But that's not to say that you all, as local professionals and the folks who are